And with a growing concern of violent crime plaguing cities nationwide, some areas are enforcing curfews for young people. But is it enough to curb the violence? Indianapolis is the latest city to consider implementing a curfew following a rash of youth violence last weekend, where 7 juveniles were shot near a mall. So far this year, nearly a dozen cities nationwide have either reinstated or enforced juvenile curfews. Some argue they curb crime by keeping teens off the streets, but some research states they're ineffective, with experts saying it could increase racial profiling and strain relationships between officers and teens. Joining us now is Chicago Alderman Raymond Lopez. Alderman, great to have you. So Chicago is one of the cities that enforced a juvenile curfew. We appreciate you being here because I think your stance is really interesting. You support curfews, but say they only work when parents face consequences for their children's actions. You even proposed an ordinance that would make legal guardians subject to hefty fines. So why do you believe that's the best answer? And what's been the response to those ideas so far?
Well, good afternoon, Kelly. Yes, I believe that if you want to change the behavior, you have to hold parents accountable for the activities of their children. And there are a number of instances where we have introduced laws and put laws in place that hold parents accountable. For example, when a child decides to graffiti a building, if the child is a minor, the parent gets cited for that activity. We have seen where in the city of Chicago in 2022, then Mayor Lori Lightfoot instituted a curfew to try and limit the activities that you're seeing on the screen right now in the downtown area. But that only works on 2 fronts. One, if you're fully enforcing it, and 2, if parents are held accountable. If that juvenile can sign himself or herself out of the station and not have to wait for a parent to come pick them up or pay a fine to get them, the child and the parent learn nothing. We need to focus on reparenting, because the scenes that you just showed in the clip before are scenes that we're very familiar with in the city of Chicago, with street takeovers organized through social media, calling out the youth to come out after hours when mom or dad or grandma or grandpa are asleep. Those activities will continue unless you start changing the behavior starting in the living room.
So to your point, let's talk about the impact of this type of crime to the city for a second. You said out-of-control children are causing 90% of the problems. What do you see as the impact of that on law-abiding citizens in Chicago?
Well, what we see is a fear by law-abiding citizens, by those potential victims who are afraid of going out into their own communities or exploring their own city out of fear of being caught in the middle of 300 or 400 individuals who are just trying to cause chaos wherever they go. These individuals are not protesting any kind of social inequity. They're not trying to make a point. All they want to do is to cause chaos and damage and destruction everywhere they go, just for the sake of being able to put it on TikTok or Facebook or Instagram. And that's where our attention needs to go specifically, because oftentimes all of this is just about gaining some sort of social media notoriety, and in its wake, it leaves people terrified to go out into the city. I have seniors who will no longer go out past 5 o'clock in the evening to go grocery shopping out of fear of being caught in these locations, and it's truly sad for them and their way of life.
So let's talk about some of this research we highlighted at the top. It suggests curfews are ineffective. Some warn of unintended consequences like racial profiling, strained relationships between police and teens. What do you say to some of those criticisms of curfews?
Well, I think curfews are ineffective if they are not fully enforced and if parents are not brought into the equation. If there is not a mechanism focusing on changing behavior, because at the end, all of this is about changing behavior, both for the teen, the youth, the young adult, but also for the parent or parents, so that they are aware, just as when we were growing up, where are your children? What are they doing? And I think when it comes to the perceived stereotyping, look, sometimes you just have to focus on what's going on in that moment. As long as you're doing this equally throughout the entire city, you can't say you're being racially profiled if you are a young person who's out after 10 o'clock at night for no apparent reason. A majority of our youth that have been involved in gun shootings or homicides in the city of Chicago have happened after 11 p.m. at night, 7 days a week. there's no reason for a young person to be out. And this is about saving their life as well as protecting other innocent victims as well.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.